In this video, I'm going to do an oil change on this snowblower. You can still see it has a sign that says free on it. One of the neighbors was giving it away. They said it runs. I'm not sure. I don't know when the last time it actually was turned on. So I'm going to start with an oil change and I'm going to go through some of the startup maintenance for this thing. Obviously it hasn't snowed yet, so it's still good to do the maintenance. Now the drain plug for snowblowers is often like a extension tube that comes out of the crankcase. I found it's pretty seized up on there. So there's the plug, which is sort of the cap on the end, and then there's a pipe that goes into the crankcase, and that also is threaded, so I found it was moving around a little bit. So I had to isolate that pipe that's sticking out with a pair of vice grips, and then I was able to get in there with the adjustable wrench and wrench off this sort of a large nut. And I suppose you could also use sockets to do this, but once it's loosened up, then that drain plug is very easy to take off. And obviously I'm going to put the catch pan or drip tray underneath of it and catch all the oil that comes out. And you can see it's coming out very slowly, and it is also very dark. So if I pull out the dipstick, you can see that it's fairly black. To expedite this process a little bit and try to get as much oil as I possibly can out, I'm going to lift the front end up, and I got a block of wood that I'm going to throw underneath it, and hopefully that helps me just get all of the old oil out of this. Now the manual for this Tecumseh engine indicates that you can use SAE 30 if it's above 0 Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit, but obviously that's not really winter temperatures. So it says if it's below 0 or 32 Fahrenheit to use 5W30, which is convenient because I have a lot of 5W30 in my garage. What I did with this stuff is I just warmed it up in the sink with some warm water to help it flow faster through the snowblower, and I'm just running some oil straight through it. So I just drop fresh oil in, hopefully just to clean out any oil that may be remaining in there. If yours is a working snowblower, which this one is not yet, you could obviously run up the engine and warm up the oil inside of it. Now before I go back and add the requisite amount of oil to the snowblower, what I'm going to do is put the oil drain plug back on, and I got some high temperature thread sealant that I'm going to put on as well, and that'll prevent any leaks from occurring throughout the winter. My intent would be to do this once a year, either at the end of the year as the last thing I do, or at the beginning of the winter season as the first thing I do. One of the two. Anyway, I didn't need the vice grips to put the nut back on because as I turned it with the adjustable wrench, it also tightened the extension pipe that sticks out of the snowblower. So no need to actually sit there with the vice grips on it. And once that nut is all tightened up, what I'm going to do is fill the snowblower's engine back up with the 5W30 synthetic oil that I just already had in my garage. Anyway, definitely the user manual says do not overfill past the line that says full. And that's pretty much the only direction that they give you in the manual. And I would say this thing takes about 1 liter. Now it might seem odd to have two different recommendations for the oil, one above 0 and one below 0. The manual for the snowblower is actually separate from the manual for the engine. And I'm assuming this engine is also used in like riding lawnmowers and that sort of thing. So anyway, once I've done a few tests with the oil, I get it up to the fill line, and that's it. So doing the oil change in the snowblower, pretty easy. Few more steps to go before I try and start this thing up. Anyway, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.